The Bruins moved to 3-0-0 on the season after beating the Florida Panthers 5-3 here at TD Garden on Monday night. I'm Conor Ryan of BostonSportsJournal.com, here to give you just a few takeaways from the Bruins' latest win here on Causeway Street. And I think when you look at a game like this, given both the state of the Bruins roster, along with the talent matched up against them, this is a game where I think you look at the Bruins as passing kind of their first real test of the 2022-23 season, right? Start off the year with a win against the Capitals, a team that's also banged up, getting older. A win against the Arizona Coyotes, who should frankly probably be relegated unless they play the Maple Leafs. I'll throw that in there. But for a game like this against the Panthers, reigning Atlantic Division winner, President's Trophy winner, talented team that added another big weapon up front in Matthew Tkachuk. If you're the Bruins going into this one, given both the level of opponent you're going up against, coupled with the fact that you're once again shorthanded, not only things we already know about with McAvoy and Marchand and Matt Grzelcyk, but with Brendan Carlo also on the shelf now, you're running out a D core that had, 5 left shot defenseman out there. Dan Renouf is called into the lineup. Connor Clifton was your only right shot guy, and he played 25 plus minutes tonight. This is a kind of matchup where you look at just the way things were falling into place, and it seemed like it was going to be a tough gut check for the Bruins in terms of, this was one where if they lost in overtime or it was 4-3, you'd probably, build that into an accepting of what this kind of game was going to be like for the Bruins as long as there's a lot of effort, you could do something that down the line, once they get healthy, you can look to this as a stepping stone and a move in the right direction. Wasn't the case. Bruins, even though Jim Montgomery said post-game it wasn't really their A game, got good goaltending once again from Linus Ullmark, a structured, solid defensive game plan even with the amount of shorthanded guys out there. And then once again, you had multiple guys contribute up and down the lineup, especially offensively. I mean, you had Pasternak had another highlight reel goal. Bergeron scores. DeBrusk will get 2 in a minute, has a 3-point night, 2 goals. Trent Frederick scores his first goal of the season. So now the Bruins have 12 different goal scorers through their first 3 games. It's just one of those ones where the Bruins get their first real test of the season and passed it with flying colors, I think, in terms of just doing all the steps necessary to come away with 2 points against a very good team. And for a Bruins roster that was going into this year confident in their ability to kind of stay afloat and tread water through the first few months of the season, a win like this has to do wonders in terms of building more of that momentum, get guys more excited to, when they get to that point in late November when you're expecting to have a top 5 defenseman in McAvoy, an all-world left wing in Brad Marchand, and a very solid, top 4 guy in Grzelcyk back in the lineup, how much more of a lift that will give you, especially if you're playing at this level right now. So all encouraging signs for the Bruins. And then obviously Jake DeBrusk, definitely a surprise. On Sunday, Jim Montgomery said that DeBrusk was expected to be back within 10 days, which seemed about right for a guy that don't know if it was his hand or his shoulder or what it was that made him exit that game last Wednesday against the Capitals. But all right, if it's not a long-term thing, miss a week or so of game action, I think most Bruins fans would be happy with that. No, Jake DeBrusk came out there today, was in warm-ups. Montgomery said that pretty much he looked good during morning skate on Monday over at Ward Ice Arena, and they decided to give it a go and looked like he didn't, miss a beat, right? In terms of the DeBrusk, I think we saw last year, especially stepping into that top 6 role, played to his strengths, made things happen with his feet, assertive on the forecheck. Jim Montgomery said after the game that the fact that the Panthers only had 5D, a lot of the emphasis was getting pucks behind them, making them work for it, and having a guy with that acceleration, that north-south speed like DeBrusk is a game changer there. And I mean, you saw it in this game, not just the, scoring a goal on the first shot of the game for the Bruins, use his feet to really kind of make something out of nothing and lead to that great setup on Patrice Bergeron's goal, which gave the Bruins a 2-1 lead at the time. And then even post-game, Montgomery said maybe the most impressive play was just that sequence that led to that empty net goal, which finally gave the Bruins some breathing room there, where DeBrusk to not only shield the puck, but then to spin around and know he has that lane to shoot it, and of course finish the shot. Just really encouraging stuff from DeBrusk, a guy that the Bruins desperately need to play at that same level he played at for, from February onward last year. he's a guy that a lot's been talked about his motivations, where he stands now that he's rescinded his trade request and how happy he is to be here. That's well and good. And it's even better that the Bruins are seeing that same kind of commitment in terms of his on ice play. I mean, it's what you saw tonight wasn't any different, I think, from what you saw in February or March of last year. And the Bruins are hoping that can continue. Because if you add a guy like DeBrusk, who can give you 30 goals if he's healthy and playing at this level, you can pencil him in for a stat line like that. It just makes this top six, which already looks pretty good, even better, especially when a guy like Marchand comes back. So a lot of positives to take away from a game like this. We'll have plenty more recaps, breakdowns, all that stuff over at bostonsportsjournal.com. So please subscribe over there. Thanks, guys.